Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to FPL Jedi Show. This is the FPL Gameweek 27 Team News. Welcome everyone. And Salam Ramadan to all our Muslim friends. As usual, we'd like to welcome Azmin to the stream. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Yes, I echo Hafiz sentiments for those who are fasting. Selamat berpuasa. This is the second day for in Malaysia lah. I don't know about other countries. I know that in Europe, I think it may be the third day already for them. So yeah, selamat berpuasa if you're watching from there. Yeah, but for the family matches go on. I did read a bit of news saying that if the matches coincide with breaking fast time, they will be given a short time
Hmm.
to which is nice.
It's
Yeah,
nice,
but
huh?
of course, yeah. But if they weren't, I know the footballers will just have a drink and then when the break comes and then they'll just soldier on as we've seen in years before. So yeah, and for most of the time it doesn't really have any serious impact on the footballers because they already trained and they know what their bodies are capable of. So yeah, but yeah, it's nice to know.
I think we will talk in more details with that because I think the fasting period will also give an impact. I think that what some of the content creator is thinking when
Mhm.
picking this player who be on fasting, they will think whether this will affect in their decision. I think for sure
Yeah,
that we can discuss. Probably it won't have a big impact, but potentially some of this player might be managed minutes, whether in terms of coming off later from the bench or playing 60, 70 minutes and then after that give them a break or a rest. All right, we want to talk about, before we jump to the team news meet, we definitely
yeah,
want to talk about game 26 double game week, where a
yes,
lot of managers like myself triple captaining Gabriel, and you know what, right? The well, the where the thought process makes Gabriel an option which definitely entice happy managers to decide whether to triple captain Gabriel. We most of us did that, but the outcome is not perfect because no clean sheet for Arsenal in those two fixtures away to Brentford. They end up 1-1, and then against Wolves, comfortably leading 2-0. Gabriel grabbed an assist, but then after that, Arsenal falter and then they lose the lead and end up with a 2 all draw with Wolves. I think that have given a different perspective into the league title race. But for my team, I scored 77 points with triple captain activated, and for yourself, 71 points, and the average points was 58. So we both had slight green arrow. Okay, I already now inside the 100k, and yourself moved to 1.7 million rank. But most importantly, green arrow. You did Captain Rice, man, which I think he is the most top scored in terms of from Arsenal team with
yeah.
14 points. Right. So maybe you can talk about your team and also your decision. You did not triple captaining this week.
Yeah, so in terms of the team, quick rerun to Bravka, and I actually saved my transfer. I didn't make any transfer. Um, because the idea was because if you remember, I had wildcarded last week, and then but then at the time I wildcarded, I still wildcarded with only two Arsenal players. And for this week,
Mm.
the idea was that I would actually transfer in a Arsenal player, but in the end, I decided not to. Two reasons. One, because straightforward transfer to say Raya, I cannot afford. So to even for Timber, the other person I consider I cannot afford because I have 0 units in the bank. Senesi,
Yep.
Konza,
Yep.
Chaloba, Anderson, super cheaper. So there was no way I
Yep.
could get him in. I had considered someone like Trossard or Eze, not Saka, but yeah. But in the end, I decided not to and just save a transfer and see how it went. And fortunately, I was lucky there. So Anderson, Chaloba, Bruno Fernandes, Semenyo, Rice, Salah, Enzo, and Mane and Ekitike. So yes, for those of you who haven't seen, this is a wildcard team from last week. and Semenyo was always going to be a lock-in, and I'm glad that I brought him in, and definitely he helped me for this green arrow. But most importantly, coming back to Rice. So Rice, I was still into him because Odegaard was going to be out. Yeah, so I figured in terms of the set pieces, he'll take it. He'll be involved in a lot more. And also, Defcon was always a nice source of contribution. Maybe in terms of penalties, he's like one level lower than Bruno in the sense that he doesn't take penalties. But he's one of those players who gives his all. And that's why in both games, he got Defcon as well. Yeah, so then coupled with the assist. And he got a lot in terms of the bonus points as well. So very happy with that. For Rice, just a spark. Okay, my bench and I see Thiago Konza. Okay, I benched Thiago just like yourself. But if you saw that if you look at the highlights of the Arsenal Brentford match, Thiago had quite enough chances to score, and he just but because the Arsenal players were just all about timing, or he just mistimed, because he really could have scored. And I think we both got lucky that we both benched him. Yeah, he could easily have scored. So yeah, but the captaincy, I did look at a triple captaincy option because it is a double game week, and a lot of theory going on in terms of there may not be a lot of opportunity because there may not be a lot of double game weeks given how the FA Cup is progressing. But in the end, I decided not to. Yeah, just leave it at that. And it turns out it was still more than enough to overcome the Gabriel triple captainers. So with a double captain, he still scored more. And I guess I'm really happy with that. I'm not going to complain. And and purely because of the captaincy, it reversed my red arrow into a green arrow. I was going down, and now I'm going back up again. So yeah, very happy with that.
If you're a triple captain Rice, imagine that scenario. You will get an additional
14 more points, man. That's a lot.
And it will end up your week with 85 points. But it is what it is. You might have another chance with a different player, or Haaland, KTK, in future. Okay, for sure. So I don't think you have regrets. Yeah, but I just want to point out, Semenyo has been really on fire. So I guess, despite Man City were blank in game week 31, and for the next 4 or 5 matches, people thinking whether it's worth it to bring in Semenyo and then take him out in 31. So I'm have two mind right now because of their form and fixtures. Suppose later we can take a look at that. But if you're an owner like yourself, I think he's a keep until he'll blank in game week 31 for sure. He's a 90 minutes man for Man City, has been scoring goals.
It's incredible with the story of Semenyo, because my whole doubt at the start when he was going to join, remember we talked about this. I was like, how on earth is Pep going to figure out that midfield, who's going to get a chance? But Semenyo's come in and he's taken his chance with both hands, and at the moment, I think he's undroppable by Pep at this point because he's just too good. Yeah, so until he loses form, we don't know, how the Champions League happens later on. Will not that be a cut? But for now, it's a keep. There's no way anyone who has him should sell him. He's loving it. I think he's improved simply because of the better service that he's getting, because of the quality of players around him is helping boost him. So yeah, glad to see another player, step up and do well. Hope that continues for me.
Yep. And I just want to point out, we have 2 Liverpool players there that can. I don't think people have a lot of Liverpool players right now, but you have 2, and Liverpool fixture are turning, which is nice for you because you're set. You already work hard and get those Liverpool players in, which is nice. I can just point out before I go to my team there. Okay. The top scorer for game week 26 is Virgil van Dijk with 17 points. 17 points, if your attacker equals like scoring hat-trick. So Van Dijk, clean sheet, goals, and then bonus point, GC point. So he got it. Okay. If you own him, You keeping his faith until now, so you got rewarded with 70. Other than that, for Arsenal players, I just read out. If you have Hincapi, which is unlikely, only owned by 0.6%, he's got the highest last week. For Arsenal team with 15, then next is Declan Rice, like we mentioned. And if you have Saka and Madueke, it's still nice because you have 13 points. Because we did mention about Saka potentially might not play both games. If you punt on Madueke, so you got 13 points. So I think that's still a good punt instead of other like Martinelli, Trossard and so on. And other than that, on both asset, I think I just want to point out, offline we did chat, Jose Sa, if you have him, he's got 13 points compared to Raya only 3 points. So I just sum up, no return for Mane, man. Potentially he could get an assist from that second goal, but 4 points will take, right?
Yeah. Just to point out, because both of us benching Thiago and got away with it. But yep, still, but one that was probably one of the problems, because we wanted to play our Wolves striker, and so and 2 points more, so works for me.
Yep. So for my team, I played Kelleher, so I got extra 1 point over Dubravka. I have double defense for Arsenal. They failed to return any clean sheet. So Timber ended up with 3 points. Gabriel 7 points. Triple K got 21 points. But I think I want to point out O'Reilly. I think he's one of the players that people start moving out.
Yeah.
And I also, I think the timing is, I haven't got the right time to move him out. And so glad that I keep him and got that 13 points. Finally, he got
well done.
So probably now, I think I bought already last time 5.2. Now he's 4.9. So banyak money already lost a bit already. So hopefully, maybe this time around, people try to get him on. But very unlikely because he's blank game with 31. So I think most probably I'm going to keep him for a while until Man City blank in 31. Anderson keep ticking with Forest, yeah? I think DC point. And a clean sheet for Forest, so that's why 5 points there. Bruno Fernandes, finally, he is a human after all. No return. Against West Ham, right? Mbomo at least return and assist and a bonus point. Enzo blank. But he will got a last chance. This game against Burnley. Then after that, Chelsea fixture kind of like turning and potentially move out. But in terms of transfer traffic later, a bit spoiler, Chelsea assets are dominating. Haaland, yellow flag, but we shall see on the team news. There's some positive news from Guardiola in terms of Haaland availability for this week. Mane, 4 points, but probably he'll be sitting on my bench most of the time moving forward. Okay.
Yeah. So good job, because Mbeumo was the scorer, but I don't think we're going to be selling Bruno Fernandes anytime soon. But yeah, the O'Reilly bit is quite significant, I feel. Yeah, so now those, obviously a lot of people have already dumped him also, but those who haven't, a bit like Rice, because there's plenty of talk about dumping him soon. We'll do some pictures, but now because those who still have him, now they're thinking twice again. So, yeah.
But you'll be surprised on the transfer traffic later on Rice. You'll see people are starting to ditching him. Okay, right, that Gameweek 26 is in the past. Let's move forward to Gameweek 27. What's in store for Gameweek 27? The deadline for this week will be on Saturday, 9:30 p.m. Malaysian time. Okay. And on Saturday, all fixture will be played at 11 p.m., which is nice. Habis Tarawih, we can see these matches. So, 3 fixture played first, Aston Villa versus Leeds. I think both are on the right form, especially Leeds managed to salvage a draw against Chelsea last week. Chelsea, unfortunately, leading 2-0, but Leeds coming back. So, Leeds not an easy meet at this juncture. Brentford versus Brighton, also on in terms of Brentford fixture are kind of turning, starting this game week at home against Brighton. And then Chelsea versus Burnley. This is the money ball game that people are looking at. Despite, I just want to mention, Burnley grabbed a win last week against Crystal Palace, who are in a worse form than Burnley, if I may say. And then on Saturday midnight, we have two matches: West Ham, Bournemouth, London Derby, and Man City versus Newcastle. If we decided to wake up at 4 a.m. or nak bangun sahur ke, I don't know, 4 a.m. Man City, Newcastle can afford that. I think Man City, Newcastle, man, this season quite interesting. They have been meeting up in Carabao Cup. They also playing in this league, and they are drew on 5th round FA Cup. So can you imagine they are meeting a lot this.
Tak puas. Tak habis-habis.
And we are not sure about UCL draw because probably they could potentially have a chance to meet up in that competition. Because Newcastle win big. I think Newcastle win 6-1 against Carabao, and we mentioned offline Gordon scored 4 goals. And then on Sunday we have Palace versus Wolves. So I'm not sure who are in a worse form. Wolves can get some result against Palace. Palace drew only 1 all away to zwxrhj, Bosnian side in Conference League. Forest versus Liverpool. Forest, I just want to mention, Forest and Spurs are having a new management in town right now. Forest, welcome back, Vitor Pereira, man. And he's the head coach for Forest right now. He grabbed an important win in the Europa League competition, away 3-0 win against Fenerbahce, but they are facing Liverpool. So I'm not sure about Forest side what to think for now. And Sunderland versus Fulham at 10 p.m. before North London Derby, Spurs versus Arsenal, with Igor Tudor as the new head coach for Spurs. Definitely he want to impress in front of the crowd. And then on Monday, the Everton versus United, David Moyes will welcome his ex-team, which managed right now by Michael Carrick. So that's the fixture for this game week 27, man. Which one stand up for you?
In terms of Moneyball games, definitely we want to look at Chelsea Burnley, because you got Chelsea scoring goals like fun with thanks to the return of Palmer and return to form. I think we should look at Brentford versus Brighton. Brightons are so weird at the moment. We don't know what's going on there. And Brentford are, as we saw, they drew against Arsenal recently as well. So, and they were clearly really dominators at attacking. They were doing well as well. That's just in terms of the Moneyball game. The rest, not so clear cut. Crystal Palace versus Wolves, interesting because we've got a very highly motivated Wolves at the moment. They know because they're at the stage where they know they're going down, but they relax and they play. They're really going all out now.
They have nothing to lose.
Yeah, whereas Crystal Palace now are being derailed, with the manager issues. There's also rumors that Glasner might leave before the end of the season at the moment. It's just destabilizing the club. And I know Glasner was unhappy with all the transfers, people leaving, because and no good replacements coming in. Yeah, so him when he publicly talked about the issues, like for example, Gueye leaving is crazy. So that one, it looks like it's a Wolves game to lose at the moment. Yeah. The only thing where Crystal Palace has the edge is the fact that we'll look at injury news later, but Wolves may be exhausted from the Arsenal game, so that might be something that factors in. In terms of interest matches, that Spurs Arsenal match, you got to look at that with wonder with the Arsenal. Can Spurs do one over Arsenal? Given Arsenal will probably be tired as well. And Spurs, it's the London Derby, Sunday night football. So let's see what happens there. But I don't know, for those of you who have triple Arsenal, what you're gonna do? Are you gonna just keep for this one? If you have if you don't have any other issues to deal with your term, you may. I don't know if like you, Hafiz, you have I think a lot of people have double Arsenal defense. Is that still viable at this point. I don't know. Yeah.
I think if, let's say, Thomas Frank still in town, probably yes. But now I can't make up what Igor Tudor will line up for his team. So definitely they will be up to it. And Arsenal, as you mentioned, their form are suspect right now.
Yeah. And Arsenal, after Spurs, don't they play Chelsea, was it?
Yeah.
After, yeah. So it's like your two matches where they run the risk of losing the lead in the league if they're not too careful. Yeah, so let's see. It's an interesting game, but definitely coming back to what I said just now, that Chelsea Burnley is such a Burnley. Of course, we know they won last time out, but Chelsea are looking dangerous again. So yeah.
I just want to point out in terms of relegation battle, put aside that Wolves and Burnley probably look doomed, okay? But West Ham, 24 points. So they are playing home against Bournemouth. They will up for it. For us, 27 points with your new manager uptown against Liverpool. They probably also need to deliver anything. And Spurs playing at home, despite a Tudor press conference, just now mentioned that 100% Spurs will not be relegated. That's how confident he is. But probably he need to instill that at the very beginning in terms of his tenure at Spurs, right? So I think that's 2-3 fixtures are playing significant important. They all have significant presence in terms of relegation. Okay, let's jump to the team news, man. Start off with the Aston Villa versus Leeds. Aston Villa right now at 3rd place, and probably they have an outside chance for league title. And for Leeds United, they are kind of scraping off their relegation battle, but they're still in it. So what's the latest team news?
Yep. So it looks like Aston Villa for Matty Cash, he will come back, but there's some key players in midfield missing there, which is McGinn, Camara, and Tielemans, who have been quite important in recent weeks. So against who did they win against? Brighton. Against Brighton, they managed to do without them, and we had Douglas Luiz, and then you had Onana, yeah, all there who played, and of course in the midfield, Sancho, Rogers, and Buendia, and of course Watkins up top. So they managed to win 1-0, but because I mentioned just now that Brighton was looking toothless and not sure what's going on, whereas Leeds, on the other hand, I don't think they will bow down that easily to Leeds. If you remember the last game, they drew against Chelsea 2-2, I think it was. Yes.
Yep.
So they're good, and on top of that, they got and they were playing away as well. They were playing at Stamford Bridge. So now with these three all coming back and available selection, it's looking good for Leeds. So in terms of how this match will go, I think it's not going to be so simple. You would think that Villa is easy, Villa at the top, but I don't think it's going to be that easy. Plus, it's the early match as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Leeds get away with a point on this one. They look motivated.
Yeah. Despite there's a lot of interest in terms of getting Aston Villa assets, so-called the right turning point right now in terms of their fixture. But Leeds, like you mentioned, it's not like straightforward game because Leeds are performing right now. So, and Villa can be suspect at home because they've been experiencing losing at home.
And Villa's win last week was an own goal. It was a Hinselwood.
Oh,
yeah. So they're not as potent as it looks. Yeah. So yeah, I think this could be a score draw. By call.
Right. All right. I think if you're concerned about Matty Cash, because I think that's why, because the absence, probably he will play in return in this game. Okay, let's go to the next match, of which Brentford versus Brighton. Like Azmin mentioned, probably this could be another money ball game. Brentford is also high flying right now at 7th place. And for Brighton like ×2 at 14th place. So we would like to know the team news for both teams.
Yeah, so you got Brentford. Sade is back, although technically speaking, they didn't miss him that much. They managed to draw against Arsenal thanks to arguably Sade's replacement, which was Lewis Potter. So he's the one who scored that. And Reece Nelson available again. So everyone else is fine for Brentford. Thiago, of course, no issue. Most people are wondering about him. Your Kelleher should be good as well.
Your Kelleher also.
Yes, that's right. It's my Kelleher now as well. That's right. I forgot. So yeah, they're looking good at the moment. I think they're quite confident. They're not too worried in terms of relegation. Not an issue for them. So yeah, for Brighton. So Brighton, no, March himself could be in the squad lah. That's about it. So nothing significant. Bukiele, the he of the long throws for Brighton. Looks like he's okay. It's just that he has a bit of a hand injury. And sorry, no, wrong person. I'm talking that was Sunderland. That was Sunderland.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know why I just went into Sunderland. See, I still have that nice Sunderland thingy. So no changes. Ayari is out. Webster is out as well, Adam Webster, but everyone else is there. So this is the thing with Brighton. Most people, pretty much everyone except Solly March is fit. So, but they're not getting as many better results as they would want. This is for this match. I'll call a Brentford win and a strong win at that. So have your Thiagos and Kelleher's in the squad. That's my recommendation.
Okay. I just want to ask because the FA Cup match, Thiago absence. So probably we should not be worried, right? Thiago should return this game, right?
Yep, not the problem. So it's a rest for him, and okay, we'll mention there's something I want to talk about Thiago, but we can do it later in the next section.
All right, Gustav. Brentford are coming stronger right now. Shade is back in the team. Next game, which is my team, Chelsea versus Burnley. I think this is a bunny ball game people are looking at. Probably people are trying to getting a lot of Chelsea asset, and Palmer is one of the names that has been mentioned. So what's the latest news for both teams?
Right, the main thing is Cucurella. Cucurella looking like he's out, but we don't know how long it's going to be. But everyone else is okay. During the press conference, he was asked, Lorenzo was asked about Palmer. This question keeps coming up. And what he said is pretty much they're okay, they're ready, they're available. I get it. This is going to be a day-to-day assessment kind of thing. But right now, he's fit and ready. And of course, we know that in terms of his frame of mind, it's there. He's back, so we'll see whether it continues. So now Burnley, Voya joined injury list, Twanzebe, no, nothing biggie. So we know that Burnley, just now we're talking about how Wolves have now playing like they've got nothing to lose. Could you say the same for Burnley now? Because they also feel, they took advantage of a very demoralized Crystal Palace. But to be fair, it was the Crystal Palace still scored, which was 2 goals, and they lost to 3 goals by Burnley. I think Chelsea will be a lot more disciplined though than Palace. They work more stable. Also, they are under new management, but they're more stable, and I think that Chelsea will win this decisively and push again.
I hope so. And if Chelsea keeping clean sheet, which will be great for you, because you have Chalobah. I only have one Chelsea asset. Right.
I don't know about the clean sheet. After they conceded 2 goals against Leeds, but I'm not confident. I just want to see whether Chalobah gets DEFCON to field him.
He can produce that DC points anyway. So probably if you concede and got 4 points, you still take it, right? So yes, I guess nothing to worry unless you have a Cucurella owner. Probably you need to move him on because he could be out for a while. All right, let's go to the next team, which is fixture West Ham versus Bournemouth. I think West Ham also in the right form. Same goes for Bournemouth, and some players from Bournemouth especially are eyed by a lot of FPL managers. So we would like to know in terms of the team news for both team.
Right, for West Ham, pretty much everyone's fit. Of course, with siapa ni suspended, Potts ni suspended lah, but everyone else is fit, so no issues with that. On the Bournemouth side, you know, pretty much the usual suspects are all out anyway. But supposedly Tavernier has trained, so we'll see whether or not he'll come in. Maybe on the bench, I think so. You know, at the very most. Even so I wouldn't immediately bring him in just yet. But he has returned to training. Just want to mention something about Bournemouth, because there was talk about this dialogue about Krupi. Yeah, so there's a question there based on what he said. Let me try to find what he said. Because he liked what he's been, how he's been doing, how he does it, you know. But there seems to be a hint of he wants him to do more, still wants him to do more than just score goals, that he's not doing enough on that side. So in terms of goals, he's not had a problem. But he did say something. Here. Yeah, right at the end he said, "I'm happy with Junior if he starts or if he comes from the bench like the other day." So it looks like he's not a nail starter, and there's still that risk. So something to consider. That's my opinion. So in terms of this match, I think this could be a close call. This one, you know, West Ham seem to be up for it. Bournemouth, of course, still have, you know, the injuries with who's the guy starting with the letter K? My God, Clivert is still on. But of course, Adams and Brooks look like they are going to be back. But ready for more involvement, which implies they'll probably be on the bench. Yeah, so really it's Clivert only, and to a lesser extent Tavernier who looks like he could be ready. I would call this a 2-2.
Wow, high scoring game. I think they have got to go for it. I think the man in form right now for West Ham is Somerville. So I think there's below radar. And West Ham will not blank in 31. So probably he could be an option. But more likely is the Bournemouth asset man. Ryan right now is on the spotlight. People are talking about him. 5.5, he has been returning for the past 3 games. Despite playing some minutes, especially on the first game, only 1.1%. Somerville, Ryan, any interest?
It's a tough one because you got... Yeah, Somerville is definitely considering. I don't know about who's that guy, Bowen. But Bowen has been performing, but then the last he did get an assist as well, I think it was. So but prior to that he blanked against Burnley of all teams, and then he scored against Sunderland and Chelsea. So a bit, he's still okay. I think it's quite a decent pick. Not picked by many. But Somerville. But if you need in terms of midfield, I think Somerville is definitely worth going for. Of course, he blanked against United, but you know, against Burnley, Chelsea, Sunderland, he scored 4 games in a row. Spurs, Sunderland, Chelsea, Burnley. So I think at his price is more worth it in terms of as a midfield option.
But I just read out. I just saw the next 4 fixture for West Ham. It's going to be a tough one. Bournemouth, then Liverpool away, Fulham away, and then City. So probably not.
I don't know. Because at the 5.6, I think because remember he did score against Chelsea as well.
Okay.
So definitely, can risk it.
Next game, City versus Newcastle. We did mention they are meeting a lot this season, and there is some concern prior to this team news, on Haaland fitness. So, but I guess Pep shared some news. What's the latest?
Yeah, the thing with when it comes to being asked about Haaland, he didn't say anything, he just said something like that. But because when you talked about Doku, he actually said specifically, Doku is out, kind of thing. Savinho is ready. So maybe he's not concerned. Is he hiding something? Probably not. He's probably is fit, but and he was we did see him training. We did see pictures on training.
Mm.
So yeah, but in terms of those two, he actually specifically Doku is not ready. Savinho is ready.
Yep.
Is Haaland ready? So other than that, Guardiola and Kovacic is still out. But just now we were talking about Semenyo. Pep specifically praised Semenyo.
Praise, yeah.
Yeah, so it's great praise, and it's not like that.
Yeah.
Other praise which for Stephanie, who's the guy Foden? Yeah, praise our bench, but I don't think this will happen to Semenyo. He's quite there. Yeah. So okay, so coming to Newcastle, just the back end people, Shah Livramento out, Bruno G's out as well. Of course, they didn't need him against Quara back, but against City is a different kettle of fish. So with Wissam also out, which means that Walter Mede will start, but I think this is a solid City win. Probably concede one goal by accident, as they want to do. But City will, of course, be also motivated after seeing the Arsenal Wolves result. So I think Newcastle will be tight. Quara back is jauh gila, okay? So they had to travel. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be a City win. No problem. Even though Newcastle did win big in midweek, this one should be a City win.
Probably this is the motivation for City because they are look on paper now have rival in terms of Arsenal because they just need to keep winning and then Arsenal might feel pressure. So I think City versus Newcastle, despite if you look on paper, Newcastle is definitely a decent side, but we do expect City to win this. And probably if you are wondering whether concern on Haaland, he should start this game. And I think Pep need him for this big game.
Yeah, and just to so because City have one game in hand compared to Arsenal.
Yep.
And they will want to win this, and then if they win this, they'll be 2 points away from Arsenal, putting further pressure on Arsenal, who plays first later in the week. So I think City are up for it.
And I do read somewhere Arsenal will still need to come to City to play. So, well, probably that is an advantage for City. So we shall see. I think this will be an interesting.
Oh,
okay,
yes.
Good. Haaland is fit. A picture in training, which is great. Next game, Palace versus Wolves. There's a lot of discontent, like you mentioned, on Palace. But Wolves are getting a result, especially in the midweek against Arsenal. Wolves play in midweek, we can say, because Palace playing in the European Conference competition. So what's the latest team for both teams?
So Leonard's out, Lacroix is out. So Riyad got a cramp, but yeah, I think Mateta also still going to be out. So it's not looking great. Of course, Larson is there and Sarr is still there, so it's right. Wolves, no big different changes. Just they're mentioning about Gomez with Swift return despite coming off with back issues. Yeah, so yeah, we saw he did come off, but Wolves scored after he went off, so not an issue. Hichan, of course, he was watching in the stands for that match. Just now we were mentioning it. We were talking about how this game's interesting, and I think Wolves is going to win this one. It's going to be another 3 points to Wolves and another of a scaring Palace into more worrying territory. So I'm going for a Wolves win, despite Wolves playing in midweek.
Does that mean we are going to play money for this game? If that's the prediction, both of us has money.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's a dilemma. I'm wondering. By the way, even though Wolves played midweek, Crystal Palace did play midweek as well in the Conference League, as mentioned there. So the fatigue issue kind of knocks each other out, except that of course, Crystal Palace had to travel. So yeah, I'm considering. We'll look at our teams later, but
yeah, interesting. All right, next game is Forest versus Liverpool. We know I don't have specific team news for Forest, but we know Vitor Pereira is the new head coach, and we might have some good news in terms of some people might return for Liverpool. So what's the latest news?
So Forest, I don't know. I don't know how many. There's so many jokes going on about Forest in terms of the managers. They say that by the time Forest ends the season, how many managers they'll have gone through, and they'll get more points than Arsenal. But I don't want to go through that. But Vitor Pereira, I'm very happy Pereira coming back. I think he'll definitely make a difference. And he probably do well for Forest, and probably try to leave by the end of season to prevent the manager or the owner from firing him for random reasons. But it might be too soon to make much. With Liverpool, on the Liverpool side, you got Frimpong, so that Gomez should be ready to start with that weapon. Jones has started on the right for Liverpool and right back as well. Gomez, who's the guy who's Bradley still out, of course. Yeah. So other than that, Liverpool are good. They're not great, but this game they should win. So I'm going to go for a Liverpool win, maybe, but not a solid one. Probably got some late moments, so maybe a 3-1 holding on for the victory kind of win.
Interesting. The fixture also turning great for Liverpool. Later we'll have a look, starting with this Forest. And I think I found a fact about Vitor Pereira and the Forest owner, Marinakis. They have working relationship before at Olympiacos, which is great for Pereira. So he can build that trust and belief in terms of how this owner will, and also how Pereira works before. So I think I didn't know that fact. So this is kind of like makes sense when Pereira come in for Pereira.
The other thing I just want to mention for Liverpool is, of course, who's that guy? Szoboszlai, who was suspended for Gameweek 26. Yeah, but he returned back. But then he came back for the FA Cup lah. So it's fine. So he'll be back. So he could
interesting, because I would like Szoboszlai to play in midfield instead of the right back position.
But he can,
But he can still deliver from that position with DC points and also taking.
He's still the best option at right back. So without the Frimpong and Bradley lah.
All right, let's go to the Sunderland and Fulham match. Not much interest in terms of getting assets, but people also eyeing in terms of Fulham assets because their fixture are turning great until the Gameweek 31 starting this week. Although Sunderland at home, they are unbeaten until recently. Liverpool did win against Sunderland at their place 1-0.
I think the biggest news for Sunderland is Granit Xhaka back. It's his absence and how Sunderland have suffered showed him just how important he is. And I think we're not just talking about his footballing ability, but in terms of his leadership ability. And how he galvanized the team, reminds the team, and the leadership quality is there thanks to his years in, as Arsenal as well as his country's football. So it's really, really good that I think they're really motivated to hopefully get back to stronger winning ways. Fulham, no biggie, Lewis Lukic and Carney. So, everyone's favorite Wilson, of course, is still hanging around, no problem. So, this could be a very interesting match. I don't know. This is a tough game to call. And just now we were talking about Mukiele for Sunderland about his head issue. So it looks like he'll still play. It's just that maybe he can't do those long throws. So they'll need to find someone, which does mean that maybe the team will not be so dangerous playing the long throw balls. I don't know who will do the long throws instead of Mukiele. I think this one is despite the lack of long throws, I think Sunderland could win this one.
I think I trust Sunderland at home, and they could keep a clean sheet against Fulham.
Yep.
Right. And next is the North London derby, like we mentioned, Spurs versus Arsenal. The new boss, Igor Tudor, in charge right now, and Arsenal form has not been great, especially losing to 2-0 lead against Wolves. So what's your latest team news?
Okay, so Spurs now under new management as well. Solanke is back trained for 2 days. I think Solanke should play this one. Reveal big possibility that Kai Havertz and Odegaard will be available. That's for Arsenal. Looks like Trossard, who came off, also looks like he's going to be out as well. There was some mention about Saka. What's the story with Saka? But apparently that the substitution that he did was just a bit more cautionary. Yeah, whereas for then they knew that they couldn't play full time. So rather than risk having injury, that's why they took him out. The other guy, just now I mentioned Trossard, looks like he's fine as well. So no issues with Trossard. He just said he's fine. Now, of course, it's Arteta, so we take it with a bit of salt. But he was also asked about Timber and Zubimendi playing a lot, but apparently they're good too. They look great. I think that's what he said. So this one I don't. I just now mentioned is. I really think it could be another draw for Arsenal. So I think Spurs is going to feel like they can nick a point and playing at home. It is a London derby, but it could be quite high scoring. So I wouldn't bench. Of course, who's going to bench Arsenal players? But this could be a high scoring game. I think it could be a 3-3 game. It's that kind of game. Yeah, even with the new manager. Yeah.
Yep, I need to play his their best 11 for sure against Spurs.
Yeah, it's crazy because when you look about it, Spurs have so many people injured. Yeah, but I think having Romero out actually helps Spurs. For example, that guy, cannot trust him for this North London derby, but I think they could still nick a point.
Right, Romero already on suspension. Okay, he will serve that match. I think he's second this week. And the last game on Monday night, Everton versus United. We also want to know the team news, but we also think that both teams should be okay in terms of, because they do not involve in any competition last week or even the FA Cup, right? So, what's the latest team news?
Nothing that we don't already know, but Grealish is definitely out for the season. Quite a loss, but they still have some goal scoring ability like KDH, for example. With O'Brien suspended for, I think he got the denial of a goal scoring opportunity. I think that's what I call it as usual. So that's it. Coleman is fit, which will help with Jake O'Brien suspended. So nothing, no real news on Manchester United. All your fantasy players are fit. Mason Mount is getting closer, but still not ready. So other than that, no one else. Everyone should be okay. Your Bruno Fernandez's should be okay. Wait, there's someone else. Let me just check.
I do expect the same lineup for Everton and United from last game week. Sesko should start from the bench and the rest should play.
Yeah, so the light, not going to be back either. Yeah, but everyone else should be fine. Yes, you could be heard the same lineup. Dogu is out as well, as usual.
On paper, this could be a tight match. United as drew last game week. They are on a run, but they drew last week, so they need to start their form again. But it's going to be tough away to Everton. All right, let's go to the transfer traffic for this game week, man.
Yep.
Who are people eyeing for this game week? The top two is from Chelsea. João Pedro, this snapshot at 11 p.m. Okay, so probably the numbers has been higher. But João Pedro and Palmer are on top right now in terms of transfer in. I think no surprise because I just read out their stats for the last 4 game weeks. João Pedro has been recorded 3 double-digit points from the last 4 and has scored 40 points. And for Palmer, he recently, especially, 2 double digit. We still remember in Gameweek 25, he scored 20 points from the hat-trick. And last week, despite drew against Leeds, he scored 12 points. So 34 points for the last 4 game week. So there is some form for both. And I think maybe that justify the top 2 transfer in for game week 27. Semenyo is at number 3. Your player, man, right now is attract more attention. You know, this and Semenyo is really, in terms of ownership, is high currently anyway. So more new owner coming. Semenyo at 50% owned. So 263,000 additional new owner coming in. Virgil van Dijk after the 70 points, I don't surprise. Even if let's say you're losing faith to any Arsenal defense, Virgil van Dijk could come in at, is it 5.9 right now? Or 6?
Yeah.
And another option at 5th is Hill, really cheap defender, 4 million, 3.9. Who also can be an enabler if you want to move your fund into midfield. And the top transfer out for this game week, number 1 is Bruno G. No surprise, because he's injured right now. 390,000 managers. Haaland is a surprise, but no surprise because it has been yellow flag and people might get itchy. And 175,000 will definitely drag that in when they are hearing Pep mention or noted say that Haaland should be available this week. Rice, after that double game week, despite 40 points, people already giving space probably for Palmer and Semenyo to come in for this game week. Cucurella on injury right now, 155,000. And Enzo Fernandez has been blanking for the last 2, if I'm right.
Yep.
Dia playing at home against Burnley, bagi chat lah last one. But that is what people are doing. So these are the transfer traffic for game week 27. Any surprises for you?
Hill coming up there is a bit of a surprise, but I guess you need a cheaper figure. The rest all no biggie lah. In terms of the transfers, not surprising. I'm just happy the fact that Pedro is getting more in than Palmer is arguably because midfield spots are more valuable. So it's hard to find space, whereas on the striker spot, it's a revolving door. It could easily change. But the biggest surprise on the transfers, not Bruno G, no surprises, but Haaland being transferred out is quite significant. Partly, obviously, because of that injury doubt he's having. So it's not surprised. But the fact that if the top forward player being transferred in is Joao Pedro suggests that, is it just Pedro? Because they have end up with people a lot of money to spend. Having said that, Haaland, if you look at the total transfers out, it's only 170. So it doesn't really reflect Pedro. So a lot of people are sending other people for Pedro, which is almost 300k transfers in. Rice coming, that's a huge surprise to me. I've always had faith in Rice because he like Bruno, except for penalty. He's just Bruno without the penalties. He has goal scoring ability. He takes a lot of dead balls. DEFCON he gives his all, So at the midfield side, I knew it was a matter of time that he'll get the DEFCONs. And the fact that he got DEFCONs against Wolves is quite suggesting something really. Rather than Wolves DEFCON again. Sorry, I just want to say I made this observation midweek that the DEFCONs for Wolves versus Arsenal, the total DEFCONs for Wolves is so much more than the total DEFCONs for Wolves is so much more than Arsenal's. So what's the problem there? Yeah, so something to think about. I'll draw out the stats. I did have stats somewhere. I point, but we'll mention it later. Let me go find it first. Okay. So Enzo being out, I think people have started to lose patience with Enzo. I've had him back for 2 weeks ever since I wildcarded. I'm also wondering about it as well. We'll have to see what happens there, really.
Right, these are the movement managers are doing right now. FPL managers are doing, and probably if you're thinking of that, I think I won't deter anyone if you want to bring in Semenyo, because he's on a excellent form, and despite their blinking, probably 4 game weeks, mungkin berbala to get this Semenyo in and then move him out later.
Okay.
Whether I'm doing it or not is another question.
Coming back to, can I just get, I mentioned about the DEFCON of Wolves versus Arsenal. So Wolves total DEFCON is 65 points. DEFCON. Arsenal team total DEFCON is 92. So Arsenal did a lot more defending than Wolves did, which is crazy when you think about it. How on earth the top team versus the bottom team, and the top team is doing a lot more defending than the bottom team? That's insane.
It just sounds like Arsenal are defending a lot against Wolves, right?
Are still buckling. That's the popular theory. Anyway, okay, move on. Next.
Right. Look at the projection, goals and clean sheet odds for this game week. We talk about what our preference result for this game week. What we shall see. Look at the markets, and we can see here at the top. I don't think it's a surprise. Chelsea, I expected projected to score 2.65, the highest for this game week against Burnley, and also the highest in terms of clean sheet, 45%. So if you're a Chalobah owner, if you're a Palmer owner, Joe Pedro, you would like to see this kind of projection. Second is Man City against Newcastle. Despite Newcastle strong on paper, 2.32 are predicted from City, second after Chelsea. Then in terms of other projected goals, highest is, I think, equals Arsenal and Liverpool at 1.81 against respective opponents. Then after that, Villa at home against Leeds, 1.7. For clean sheet, mentioned about Chelsea, but after that, who? I'm surprised to see here Palace at 41% against Wolves. Probably be prior to that result, probably. And Arsenal keeping clean sheet away to Spurs. It's going to be tough. Probably they can do it, but they haven't do it for the last two. So that's the reality. So that can be trouble. And other than that, Villa keeping clean sheet against Leeds United. But the rest should be equal. What do you think in terms of projected goals and clean sheet odds for this game with me?
Yes. So the Crystal Palace Wolves, the odds are definitely not taking into account what happened against Arsenal. Just from the date is 16th of February, which was before, maybe before the match. But anyway, so yeah, I definitely don't see that CS happening because I did just project the Wolves win. So goals should be much higher as well. Crystal Palace are all over the place. Arsenal at 40% CS. I'm not sure what they're having there, but the North London derby, anything happen, and I do expect Spurs to score goals. Chelsea, yeah, I guess so for the goal side, but into the CS percentage, I think that's a bit too optimistic. I have Chalobah, but I'm not expecting a clean sheet. I'm just hoping you get DEFCONs. The rest are okay, pretty much. I think I more or less agree with them. Liverpool not so high either, which there's also that new manager bounce which we have to be worried about. And Liverpool haven't been really free scoring anyway, so yeah, I think 1.81 feels a bit high. Sorry, but yeah, I think because Forest could, I'm not sure on the new management, but even under Sondheim they do manage to pull out results. Not necessarily wins, but at least draws. So I think it'll be a tough one for Liverpool. We'll probably win, but it won't be a big one.
Right. Straight from this projection, we want to talk about captaincy pick. Interestingly, Chelsea and City from this projection could be the top pick if you are looking at. So for Chelsea, could be on the right side, Palmer or even João Pedro. And for City, most probably Haaland is, or if you want to go for Semenyo, can also be an option, but Haaland is the obvious one. So from this, Chelsea and City are the top dog for this captaincy for this week. What do you think?
Yep, I think those of you who have Palmer, not a lot of people, but now there's more people more transferring in. That definitely Palmer's option. if you believe there's no issue with Haaland, then definitely he'll be a strong option, given that Newcastle flying back from wherever and then probably exhausted as well. Plus a lot of their first defender choices aren't there. Just now it was between Chelsea and City, right? Yeah, so yeah, it will definitely be Chelsea and City. But the point I wanted to make is that as a dark horse captaincy option, just like I was mentioning it, I alluded to earlier, is Thiago for Brentford. I think it's definitely something to consider. Yeah, because he's so important to how they do, and just after watching the Arsenal game, it's and not just Arsenal game, but of course, a lot of other matches before. Brentford's attack looked good, and a lot of the attack will flow through Thiago, and he's a strong presence up front. So I wouldn't be surprised if he scores well to rival Haaland and to a certain extent Palmer. So if you have sold Haaland for whatever reason, like just now you took Pedro Palmer, but then you don't have Palmer, then I think Thiago should be a serious consideration for captaincy.
Fair. My dark horse pick, probably I'll stick to the Chelsea and City. If you don't go for Palmer or Haaland, Semenyo or João Pedro, I don't think people would want to captain. A lot will captain those, but those can also be a decent choice and can be an explosive one if they got it right. This can be.
Yes.
So that can also be an option.
Yes, definitely an option. It's just that the problem with Semenyo is he doesn't have many routes to go points. He's pretty much goals, assists, no dead balls, no penalties. Yeah, so that's why.
Fair. People might not go for Bruno Fernandes this week, right, mate?
Well, yeah, he's definitely less popular given that he also blanked last time out. If he had scored, I'm sure he'll be considering. But United are away, and it showed that the last week showed that it's not plain sailing for United either. Yeah, so they will come up against harder, more challenges along the way. Of course, they in Gameweek 25, I think they won against Spurs. I can't remember what the score. 2-0 or 2-1
right.
or something like that. Yeah, but
I think 2-0.
But the part that raised that is, of course, the last match where they drew against West Ham. So 1-1. So that's also why people are okay, maybe not this week. And plus they're playing away again.
Yeah, I can agree. All right. Before we go to our team pick, let's take a look at the fixture ticker, man. Probably that might enlighten us in terms of who should we target. In terms of ticker, this is for the next 5 because we want to focus on until the game week 31 blank game week, and then after that we will have international break. So up there is Fulham because they are facing Sunderland, Spurs, West Ham and Burnley. Spurs, West Ham, Burnley at home, and mix with Forest away in game week 30. So Fulham, kind of like nice fixture coming up. So the likes of Wilson, probably Raul Jimenez or any defense there, Anderson. And Bournemouth at second, which is interesting because we look at transfer traffic Hill in the conversation. People eyeing like Ryan. If you are stuck with Krupi Jr., Evanson, probably there's merit to keep because Bournemouth will play 3 home game week in the next 5. West Ham, Sunderland, Brentford, Burnley. As long as the number Burnley is great, right? And United in game week 31. And then we mentioned about Liverpool, the top interticker at the 3rd. Forest, West Ham, Wolves, Spurs and Brighton in game week 31. So kind of like great in terms of fixture, right? Crystal City in the 4th and 5th, but they're blank game week 31. But we just take a look. Palace, Wolves, United and Spurs away, and then Leeds. I'm not sure whether that's great. City, if you want to bring in Semenyo, they play Newcastle at home, away to Leeds, home to Forest, and away to West Ham. Is it great? Probably.
Yeah.
And we have the next two at least, Brentford and Villa. Brentford have Brighton, Burnley, Bournemouth, Wolves, and Leeds. 3 promoted side there. Right, two, Burnley and Leeds. But Wolves can consider one of those team. And Villa also attract interest because they're playing Leeds at home this week, then Wolves. But then some tricky matches, Chelsea and United before West Ham at home in 30. At the bottom 3, Forest, West Ham and Brighton. Brighton really up fixture. They have Arsenal, Liverpool, and Sunderland, Brentford in the midst. West Ham also have Liverpool, City and Villa. Forest have Liverpool, City and Spurs. So the top team, Ticker Man, which one interests you?
Liverpool interests me really, and that's why I went for the double up in attack, and at the same time not confident with the defense. Having said that, Forest and the new management does throw a bit of a question mark, so we're not sure. West Ham have been looking good recently, and even Wolves have been looking good recently. So it's not as great as IOG thought it would be, but I think it's still strong enough to consider. And if you have your players, you should continue having them. Crystal Palace, sure, they're up there, but I'm not going to go there. Plus, they blank on game week 31. Yeah, so the problem with City, you're bringing in Semenyo now is in the knowledge that he will blank on game week 31. If you have him, no problem. Newcastle leads in first. But if you have transfers to spare, if you're saving up, then go for it. I don't think it's an issue. I think it's great. I think at the moment he is better than Haaland as well as a pick. So, but given the fixtures, if you have Haaland, looks like he's fit, you wouldn't want to drop him. So that's not so great. Just now we were talking. You mentioned Villa, Leeds and Wolves, but statistically, on the paper, yes, these look like great matchup. But reality is, we know that Leeds and Wolves are really fighting at the moment. They're doing well, so it may not be so straightforward. And I doubt Villa will keep clean sheets there before they face Chelsea. So not so great. I just want to mention Chelsea because we saw Pedro being the top transfer and Palmer second. So fixtures, Burnley, yes, of course, definitely. But after that, they play Arsenal, Villa, Newcastle. But based on the discussion that we've had tonight, are Arsenal that hard of a fixture at the moment? No, they conceded 2 to Wolves, 1. And Villa also, they're not so consistent. Yes, they won last time out, but they drew 2-2 against Leeds, for example. So definitely they can get there. Then Newcastle, who are stretched on so many sides in terms of the competition, they could be really exhausted, and some key players, defenders, as well as Bruno G out. So it's not looking great because you get the first match is so easy, and after that Arsenal and Villa. But my argument there and it looks like a lot of people are ignoring that. Well, of course, that Burnley match is just too irresistible, and I think it's worth a transfer to bring them in. Because I don't think the fixture is as bad as it looks, and they also don't blank in game week 31. So I think definitely I can see why people go for it, and I wouldn't say no either. I'm tempted.
Great. Let's go to our team. Looking at it from this fixture ticker, this could be coming into our mind when we deciding what we're gonna do in terms of our team. Let's go to my team first. I have 1.4 million in the bank, 2 free transfer. At this juncture, I'm captaining Haaland, but that could change. In goal, I play Callagher for sure at home against Brighton. Hopefully, Brentford will keep a clean sheet. Probably I'll play those 2 defenders from Arsenal, Timber and Gabriel, because I have them. They are highly priced, right? So you don't want to play cheapies on it. But Alderete could come in as conscious. They could clean sheet at home against Fulham. So probably that can be an option. I'll play O'Reilly. I think I'm going to trust him this game week against Newcastle. In midfield, I have Anderson, Bruno Fernandes, Enzo, Rice, and Mbomo. Mbomo and Bruno playing away to Everton. Rice away to Spurs. Enzo at home against Burnley. Henderson, I'm still thinking. Haaland and Thiago up front. But potentially, I could play Mane over Henderson. Alderete over one of those Arsenal defense if I'm brave enough to do that. But I'm thinking to roll, whether that's crazy or not. But that I don't have one transfer, just one transfer to get in Palmer. I don't think I have that road, because if I want to do that, probably I need to take out Bruno Fernandes, which I might not want to do that.
Yeah.
So I think I have some limited option. Other option that I'm thinking that can be consideration is, like I mentioned, Wilson or Ryan or even Morgan Rogers, if I have the feeling that can perform the next two game Leeds and Wolves. But like you mentioned, they are on up form in terms of Wolves and Leeds, right? But Anderson could easily I bench and play Mane if I trust Wolves getting result against Crystal Palace. What do you think?
The thing with Anderson is just he seems super consistent. I don't have him, and I keep thinking I wish I had him, because at least he's just. Pardon?
Is
It
it
just feels like it just feels like he continues to tick in terms of points. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can check.
I've been getting 2 and 1 and 0 points the last three.
No, not the Fulham Anderson, the Forest Anderson.
Oh yeah, Anderson. That one Anderson is consistent. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, so because even against the bigger opponents, he sticks over. So I just feel that with Liverpool,
he get 4, 5, 3.
Against Arsenal, he still scored 5 points. Yeah, so he's been getting
4,
4, 7, 5, 5, 7, 4, 5. So at his price, it's a nice to have, as in, he's not expensive, and for his value. So definitely Anderson is because just now we're talking about benching Anderson for Mane. Just now you mentioned that, and bringing Mane in instead. So it's a bit hard to bench Anderson at that consistency.
I agree, but do we want to try our luck getting Mane and he go explosive against Crystal Palace? Probably. Well, but Anderson, like you mentioned, he's a consistent performer.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I don't have Anderson, so I need to figure something else out. But for you, it is between Anderson and Mane, because it's hard to bench any of the other guys. Rice, after he did well, Mbemo, Fernandes, even Enzo, because of the matchup, it's so good. It's Burnley. I'm thinking about that, by the way. The Enzo for Mane. We'll talk about my team later. But other than that, I think your team is set. So just now you mentioned you want to roll. I guess the question just now, which the only thing is whether or not you want to bench Alderete. Only have one Arsenal defender and bringing Alderete. That's a tough one. But because Sunderland at home and with Xhaka back, I think it'll be a force. So, but again, benching expensive. That's where your problem is. But I'm all for rolling this, I think.
And then I have 3 transfer and then tackle those Enzo and Rice, because they are playing each other in Gameweek 28. So probably those are the players that I will take out, and getting whoever, like the Liverpool players, can be an option in 28 easily because they are playing at home.
So at the moment, it's a roll for you, right?
I think so. Unless I don't think I have easy road to get Palmer in or even João Pedro. I don't think that's consideration. And then I think the only thought, if I wanna get in Ryan or Wilson, but Wilson playing away to Sunderland, which can be tough. I don't think that's a nice entry. Ryan, probably yes, away to West Ham, but maybe I'll just give him another week and then see whether he can be an option after that. But three free transfer, let's see, will go a long mile just to tackle Enzo Rice on probably O'Reilly or any Arsenal defense if I don't have that feeling anymore.
Fair enough.
Right. I think that's my team. A decision to be made, but hopefully, I think Anderson, I could easily keep Anderson and just getting that consistent result from Anderson. Let's see how I feel tomorrow. All right. Let's go to your team. I think you also have 2 free transfer, but no money in the bank.
I have 0 money in the bank. That's absolutely right, which is kind of sucks, but I don't like having that, but it is what it is. So now we got Kelleher, Gabriel, Anderson, Chalobah, Fernandez, Semenyo, Rice, Salah, Enzo, Thiago, and Ekitike. So I was waxing lyrical about Thiago, so I'm definitely not going to bench him. Anderson, just now we're talking about it. So how he's not the super consistent Anderson. We did not bring him for Senesi. I wish I could bench my Anderson for Mane, but I can't. That's an illegal formation to 5-3. I wish I could. I really do. Because the thing with Konsa is that he, just now we're talking, I think Leeds will score. So I'm not confident about him without things that doesn't much goal scoring ability as well. So that's the tough one. That's why I still have Anderson there. But it is really between Anderson and Senesi and who can deliver the DEFCONs. That's about it. I don't expect either to keep clean sheets. So that is the dilemma I have. The other dilemma I have is, my captaincy is on Ekitike at the moment. Just now I talked about Thiago. So most likely I will move my captaincy to Thiago unless I use a transfer. Okay, so Salah, I picked him at the wildcard thinking, maybe he'll come good, and I wanted to see against a tough opponent, which is City, and he didn't return, and a not so tough opponent against Sunderland, and he returned an assist. So not much, very little to go for. So I wanted to look at these 2 games to see whether he can come back to those heights. And at the moment, I'm not so optimistic, despite Liverpool's strong fixtures. So I am considering moving Salah to Palmer. I have that luxury of going a 1-to-1 transfer because of that. Yeah, and given Palmer's current form, it looks as though I'm chasing points because Cole Palmer's fixtures don't look great. But then we talked about that Chelsea's fixtures and how I don't think it's that hard. Yep. So yeah, I'm looking at Palmer. If and I can consider if I do bring him in, then he does become a strong captaincy option.
Right. I think in your position, you could do that, man. I think you can do that move, Salah to Palmer and captaining him, and it will be great because potentially Chelsea can score 2 goals or more, and probably Palmer will be in the mix. And I kind of agree. Probably you play Senesi over Anderson, and then you set up for this game.
Yeah, okay.
So
I'm slowly coming on to the idea of just go for the Senesi instead. Yeah, the matchup.
Yeah. So I guess you can do that. If you go for Palmer, I'll root him for that, and you captain him, and hopefully he delivers. But if you're not feeling it tomorrow, you could captain Thiago, which is still nice, and just leave Salah playing away.
If I hadn't saved the transfer from last week, I probably wouldn't consider transferring in Palmer and just roll with it and try and hope he doesn't go. But with the extra free transfer, I think I can risk it.
Great, man. Definitely. And at your position, I think I'll do it. And just trust in terms of fixture against me. All right, before we take some questions from Rakan FPL, last one in terms of how the FPL Jedi League looking after Gameweek 26. At top right now is AJ Dragon, owned by Jack Tachala. I'm not sure whether he's the new entrant coming in from this game week. Because I haven't seen him that much, but he scored 79 points last week, and he triple captain Gabriel like others. So his team is Sanchez, Tarkowski, Blank, Gabriel, and Saliba, who only play one game in the game 26 against Wolves. 1 point. Bruno, Blank, Mbomo 6 points, but he has Rice and Semenyo. Very tasty. He has Tolu.
And Pedro.
And Pedro.
Yeah, Pedro up top.
Alan and Tolu. Not many own Tolu. I'm not sure how much is he. But Tolu can be really punty if he scored any goals. So, but he has Michele in defense, which is great, and Enzo, and who probably will come in this week. And Tolu will be benched, and he'll play 3-5-2.
I just want to give him props for benching Enzo. It's incredible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because of course that Wolves player for the double game, but still, benching Enzo.
Yeah, great. So I just want to shout out in the top 10 team of FPL Jedi League, Skynet at second place. We know he has been at top place a few weeks back. Anak Kuching also, Beta, and myself at 5th after triple captain, 20 points away. Hopefully, 1, 2, 3 go. SM team in 7, JW33 at 8, Voodoo FC9, and 2020 FPL champion at 10th place. So well done to everyone. Top 10. We are going to continue our battle in Gameweek 27. For those who want to join our community, you could also key in our league code zwxrhj. Right. Let's take a couple of questions or 3 questions from Rakan FPL. Oh, yeah. This one. Play Rice on Bomo. Play both lah.
If I had to choose, I'd probably go for Rice. But very, very, very not much. Yeah, because Bomo does take corners as well. Yeah. But Rice has the DEFCON thing going for him. So Rice over Bomo if I had to choose.
Probably I'll do that too. Palmer captain, but for a hit, would you do that? For free, I think there's no issue. But for a hit to Captain Palmer, I'm not too sure.
I think so. I think it's worth it.
Oh.
Yeah, but I just went on record saying I wouldn't have considered Palmer if I didn't have an extra transfer. But that's just myself. I think for a hit, I think it's still worth it. I don't know who you're selling though. Yeah.
I might not do it, but Azmin would. So there's different opinion. Last question, which is if you are bringing a striker, would it be João Pedro or Thiago this week?
Thiago, hands down.
All right, I think Thiago will be also my answer because Brentford has excellent fixture for the next 5 at least. And for Chelsea, after this Burnley, yes, this could be a great week. But after that, they're facing some tough matches, at least on paper. So yeah, Thiago. Right, man, we come to the end of the stream. Gameweek 27 is on the horizon. What's your last word?
This could be another pivotal week. So I really like to see what happens here. We know, for example, Palmer is still not highly owned because people have challenges in structure to bring Palmer in, despite him being second in the transfer venue. But a lot of people aren't bringing him in because of the structural issue. So if people who don't have Palmer and Palmer hauls, there could be a lot of trouble. Yeah, but let's see how we go.
All right, thank you everyone for joining our live stream. Do hit the like button and subscribe to our FPL Jedi YouTube channel to support us. Until then, good luck to everyone, and hopefully you do well in Gameweek 27 until we meet in Gameweek 28. Okay, and bye-bye.
Good luck. Bye bye.